Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lynx, and welcome to another new mini box live review. So it's generally 5 in the morning, and Konami just announced their brand new mini box, Wings of Clearness. I haven't gone through any of this mini box contents yet, but I do know of 3 cards that are in it because Konami accidentally leaked their own mini box yesterday, or through Steam. And the 3 cards that I know of that everyone basically already knows of are Clearwind Synchro Dragon, Win the Wind Channeler, and Wisdom Eye Magician. Outside of that, I don't know any of the cards in this mini box and want to go through it with you guys. I have my trust mug of coffee because it's currently 5 in the morning. Delicious. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting with the cards we already know. Clearwing is basically just a way to get to Crystal Wing, which, spoilers, we are getting in a bundle. You just use this to get into Crystal Wing. Outside of that, it's kind of an underwhelming boss monster. Win, you might as well call this SPEEDROID Terror Top. This is more copies of SPEEDROID Terror Top. Other Win decks probably can use this, like Dragoonity, kind of. They already have some sort of coincidental synergy with the SPEEDROID cards. So, but as of today, as of the current meta, this is basically 3 more copies of SPEEDROID Terror Top, and if you're building SPEEDROIDs, you want to max out on this. No questions asked. Wisdom Eye, this is interesting, right? Because it's a good card, but it doesn't work well with Pendulum Call, which is probably the most important card in the Raging Dragon variant of Pendulum Magician. So what this card does is, if you have a Magician or Performable card in your other Pendulum zone, you can destroy this card, and if you do, place a Magician Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum zone. So you can definitely make something like set a... Let me close this before it opens. You can definitely set a Performable Lizard draw, and then this on the other scale, pop this, then activate Lizard draw to draw something. It's interesting, right? And then you put an Oath Dragon Magician. It's interesting, but the problem is you can use this before Pendulum Call, because Pendulum Call only works if you haven't activated a Pendulum effect yet. And you can use it after because you need to destroy it, and Pendulum Call protects it. So yeah, it's an interesting card, but I wouldn't exactly say it's good and it will see play. Maybe in the future in another version of the deck, but I think the current version prefers to play Pendulum Call. With all of that out of the way, let's just skip right into the bottom with the Crash cards. Also, you can see the Crystal Wing bundle thing stuff. We're also finally getting box chips, but they're kind of disappointing. We'll talk about it in another video. But here we go. Starting from the bottom, now we're here. Let's see. The first card, it's a Starry Night. I actually haven't built this deck because it seemed really boring. Cup of coffee. If this card is in your hand, you can return 1 Starry Night monster or 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster you control to the hand, except Starry Night Xiao. Special summon this card. If you control no monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster from your hand. This is not a quick effect, I believe. You can only use each effect of Starry Night Xiao once per turn. So what I know from this deck is, from facing it on ladder a few times, is that it really likes to set up Starry Night Arrival, I believe is the name of the trap, and Starry Night Constellation, maybe? Let's see, let's actually not talk dumb stuff on the internet for once. You want... No, it's Ceremony, not Constellation. So from what I know, you want to set your ceremony and your arrival to constantly loop your Starry Night Starry Dragon. This card doesn't really help with that, right? It doesn't facilitate that kind of playstyle, so I don't think we'll see any play. Pendulum Transfer, so we are getting more Pendulum cards besides the Wisdom Eye after all. What does this do? Target up to 2 Pendulum monsters you control. Place those targets in your Pendulum Zone. Absolutely awful, never played this ever. SPEEDROID Hexasaucer, so we are getting some more SPEEDROIDs besides the ones that previously leaked. That's interesting. This is from the manga. This is a manga SPEEDROID because it's a pendulum. And I believe only the manga version of Hugo play the pendulum SPEEDROIDs. Anyways, enough of dumb Arc V trivia. SPEEDROID Hexasaucer. Never saw anyone play this. What does it do? You can target one of your Wind Synchro monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. Not that useful of an effect. You can recycle your Crystal Wing, since that's limited to 1, which is kind of useful when you think about it, but outing, if your opponent outed Crystal Wing, you probably already lost, in my opinion. Monster effect. Both players take any battle damage from attacks involving this card. Any battle damage from battles involving this card is halved. If this card is destroyed in the Pendulum Zone, you can special summon one face-up SPEEDROID Pendulum monster from your extra deck. Weird Metal Foe synergy aside, not that good. I wouldn't play this. Getting a Pendulum edition here. Dragon Collar Magician. Never saw anyone play this. That is probably bad. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster from the field. It becomes a Dragon type until the end of your opponent's turn, even if this card leaves the field. Not exactly sure what's the use of this. Once per turn, you can make this card become Dragon type until the end of this turn. A monster that was Fusion Summoned, Synchro Summoned, or XC Summoned using this card on the field as material gains this effect. If this card battles a Dragon type monster, this card's attack, it's double. Yeah, not particularly useful. It kind of almost looks like you want to have one of these in your Pendulum Zones and another on the field to use as material, but that's pretty hard to achieve. Probably won't see any play at all. Performapal Gum Gum Muton. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving a monster you control and an opponent's monster, you can activate this effect. That monster you control cannot be destroyed by the battle. Not a bad effect, especially on a scale 1. Monster effect. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving a monster you control and an opponent's monster, you can activate this effect. That monster you control cannot be destroyed by battle. It's an interesting effect, right? It's some form of protection, some battle protection, but it's a low scale, sadly, and currently the best low scale you can play is Oath Dragon, and you wouldn't play this over Oath Dragon, so I don't think this will end up seeing any play unless you want like some pure version of Performapals. Now, these two cards are recognized. These are the missing Aqua Actress cards. So, if you don't know, Aqua Actress is a very small archetype played by one of the Arc V kids, right? The little girl with red hair. And what the archetype does, it is basically consisted of very small monsters like Guppy with 600 attack and Tetra with 300. And even their boss monster only have 2,000. But they all have like quite powerful effects like Special Summon from the hand, search a Aquarium card, which are their continuous spells, and search a card, search an Aqua Actress card. They're a pretty powerful, I guess you could put in quotation marks, engine that is very, very consistent, but it's quite weak, right? They are just beat sticks when, even with all of their current cards, like Aquarium Set increases their attack by 600, and Aquarium Lightning doubles it during the damage calculation. So you can have like a big 4,000 attack Arowana, 5,200 attack Arowana. But these two last cards, they're just the most insane shenanigans that a weak meme deck like this can have. Let me read them for you, right? The first one is their trap card, Aqua Story Urashima. If you have an Aqua Actress monster in your graveyard, target one monster on the field, and to the end of this turn, its effects are negated, its attack and defense become 100, also, it is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. So, basically, this is like one of the most powerful negates in the game, and it's not once per turn. Where is the once per turn? And the only thing that you need to have is an Aqua Actress in the graveyard, which is very easy to achieve now that we have Link monsters. The other card is Aquarium Stage, searchable by Tetra, by the way. Water monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle with a non-water monster. Aqua Actress monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one Aqua type monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, you can only summon Aquas for the rest of the turn. All Aquarium spells do this. So, basically, this protects you against any monster effects. And this is the strongest monster negate I have ever seen printed, not once per turn. It's literally so strong. And it's so cheap too, right? Those are all R's and these are N's. So we will have to make a video about Aqua Actress. We will have to experiment something with this. It is so very interesting in my opinion. You can make this with Orcust engine, right? You use Guppy, special summon Tetra, make the Mermaid, bring the Nightmare, do the whole Orcust combo, and just set them Urashima because it requires you to have a Aqua Actress in your graveyard. That's pretty strong, right? That's pretty interesting. So we'll have to get the Aqua Actress ball rolling. Now this is a card I'm seeing that I saw on the subreddit on r/Duel links. It's going to be Limit 3, which is Perform a Pulp Pinch Helper. Once per turn, when an opponent monster declares a direct attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, special summon one Perform Pulp monster from your deck, but its effects are negated. When an attack is declared involving a monster you control and an opponent's monster, you can send this card to the graveyard to take no battle damage. Absolutely not necessary to Limit 3 this. Just dumb, in my opinion. It's a bad card, no one would play it anyways. But Konami just doesn't like stall cards, I suppose. Next card, Defender of the Ice Barrier. Will you control another face-up Ice Barrier monsters your opponent control cannot declare an attack if their attack is greater or equal to this card's defense. Interesting full out gate, but not exactly what Aqua Actress, Ice Barriers need right now. Just, it can be very easily gotten rid of, right? You can Book of Moon it, you can just destroy it with a card effect. It's not very good. Sing Engine, I don't know, we didn't have it yet, but glad to have you, friend. Apprentice Piper. Flip, you can special summon one monster from your hand. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one monster from your hand. So I guess the goal is just to set this and your opponent just runs it over and just special summon 2 cards from the hand. Not very good, very slow. Now, X-Saber Palomuro, this card I know because he is a honorary Performapal card. Let me explain. This is a Reptile Earth level 1 tuner. Its effect is absolutely relevant when it's in the graveyard and then Saber monster control is destroyed by battle. You can pay 500 to special summon. Not relevant at all. What is relevant is this. On the TCG, what you would do is you would Pendulum Summon 2 level 4s and make King of the Feral Imps. That's the name of the card. You will make King of the Feral Imps. Once per turn, you can attach one Xyz material from this card, add one reptile monster from your deck to your hand. So what you would add is X-Saber Palomuro, and you would have in your hand a card named Perform Mage Hat Tricker, which if you 2 or more monsters are on the field, you can special summon it. And you would use the level 1 Palomuro Tuner with the level 4 Hat Tricker to special summon a little guy known as Naturia Beast, which requires an Earth Tuner and a Earth non-tuner. We don't have neither Hat Trick nor Beast, so this doesn't really do anything, but I still think it's funny Konami decided to give him in a Pendulum box, like, oh, Pendulum Magician card. Very funny. Redicicle. Target one Speedroid Tuner monster in your graveyard. Special summon it, but its effects are negated. Also roll a 6-sided die, and its level becomes the result until the end of this turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one wind synchro monster using monsters you control, including a Speedroid Tuner. Not very good. The fact that it modulates your tuner's level on a dice roll, it's absolutely awful. So just don't play this. There are better trap cards. Moving on to the ends. We have another Starry Night card. Starry Night... hard to speak. Starry Night Orbital. It seems like it's a new card. Still has the simple marking on it. Quick effect. You can target one light monster you control, tribute it, and if you do, set one Starry Night spell trap directly from your deck. Wow. If a face-up level 7 light dragon monster you control returns to the hand while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect or orbital once per turn. This is really good, right? It gets you into your spell and traps very easily. I think it's probably a 3-off in the deck. Yeah, I'm almost sure you want to play 3 of this in Starry Night. Like I said, I don't play the deck, but from what I faced, their whole game plan is based around on using that spell and setting the trap. So I think you want 3 of this. It's a very good card. SPEEDROID Malicious Magnet. Let me take a sip. Remember this card from the Arc V anime? I think Kite or someone else steals Clearwing and Yugo uses this to steal it back or something like that and make Crystal Wing. Cannot use the synchro material except for a synchro summon by its own effect. During your main phase, if this card is normal or special summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one wind synchro monster using only this card you control and that monster. You can only use this effect of Malicious Magnet once per turn. Okay, so very funny card, right? Just yoink your opponent's synchro monster. Basically a super poly for synchros. But the problem is we are in the middle of a very Xyz heavy meta. So there's a good chance that if you draw this, it will just be dead, right? You can't use Orcust Dingirsu as a synchro material, sadly. But very funny card. If you want to do some funny memes, this card is for you. But not that good. Next card, SPEEDROID Skull Marbles. Once per turn during the standby phase, if your opponent controls a face-up monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can special summon this card from your hand. Cannot be destroyed in a battle with a normal summoned sub monster. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card. You can only use this effect of Skull Marbles once per turn. If you control a face-up monster that it is not a SPEEDROID, destroy this card. So interesting but bad, right? I can see it being played on some form of Amazoness Swordswoman Lava Golem deck, right? Just keep crashing it versus your opponent. But outside of that, the level is awkward as a level 7. And the special summon requirement is just go good if you like to blind second, which you can't in Duel Links. It's always 50-50. So yeah, not that good, sorry. Kinda getting sick. All these bad cards giving me a flu, man. Me sip a bit of coffee. Another mega SPEEDROID. SPEEDROID Passing Glider. Pendulum effect. Once per turn, you can send one SPEEDROID tuner from your hand off or face-up field to the graveyard, increase or reduce this card's pendulum scale by the original level of the sent monster. That's kind of bad. Monster effect. If there are no monsters on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Passing Glider once per turn this way. When this card is tribute summoned, you can target one level 4 or lower SPEEDROID monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Your opponent's monster cannot target SPEEDROIDs for attacks except this one. So, interesting, it's kind of a worse Cyber Dragon, right? It requires no monsters on the field, which if you could blind first would be pretty good, but again, you can't decide if you go first or second in Duel Links. So it's not bad, but there are certainly better cards to run to start your combos. Performapal Inflator Tapir. During damage calculation in either player's turn, if a monster you control battles an opponent's monster, you can discard this card. Neither player takes any battle damage from that battle. When opponent's monster declares a direct attack while this card is in your graveyard, you can discard the Performapal, special summon this card in defense position. Bad. It's just a bad Balanced Water Veil. Raid Magic Skip Force. So we're getting some RAIDRAPTORs in here, huh? Interesting. Target one RAIDRAPTOR Xyz monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck one RAIDRAPTOR monster that is 2 ranks higher than that target by using that target as the Xyz material. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card and one RAIDRAPTOR monster from your graveyard, then target one RAIDRAPTOR Xyz in your graveyard, special summon it. So, interesting, it lets you skip 2 levels, which makes Revolution Force much easier to summon. But then again, I'm not sure people are actually summoning Revolution Force anymore, because it's just much better to go into Odai's Raging Dragon, right? It's just blows up the whole field, attack twice, win the game. But maybe if you don't want to play Raging Dragon, well, Raging Dragon actually requires you to go into Strange Falcon first, so maybe if you can't do that play, just to go into the Revolution Falcon instead. Problem is, the current RAIDRAPTOR extra deck is just so tight, right? So I don't know if you have if you have enough space to run both of them. That is worth thinking about. The RAIDRAPTOR players, just think about it and tell me in the comments down below if you will be playing Skip Force. Pendulum Storm. Destroy as many cards in the Pendulum zones as possible, then you can destroy one spell trap card your opponent controls. Just play MST. Performapal Rain Goat. Get it? Rain Goat? It's a goat using a raincoat. Haha, very funny. When a card or effect is activated that would inflict damage to you, quick effect, you can discard this card and make that effect damage to you 0. Play Hanawata. During the main phase, quick effect, you can discard this card and target one Performapal or Odai's card you control this turn. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Not very good. Just play Hanawata. Synchro Cracker Konami, you can't call the white cards that. Target one synchro monster you control, return it to the extra deck, and if you do, destroy all face-up monster your opponents control with attack less than or equal to that synchro monster's original attack. There are better ways to board clear with synchro. SPEEDROID Block and Roll. This card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material. You can special summon one SPEEDROID token with a luck level equal to the original level of the synchro monster that used this card as material. You can only use this effect of block and roll once per turn. So this one is gimmicky but interesting, right? Because it gives you extension. If you use it to make something like Hagoita, you get a level 5 token. And if you then special summon, for example, a card turbo, just an example, you can go into a level 8 like Kite Drake or Stardust Dragon or whatever. So interesting, right? It's not a bad card, but I don't know if we'll see play just because the current SPEEDROID deck is already quite packed. So I don't know if this form of extension will see any play, but it is worth considering. It's not a bad card. SPEEDROID Gun Price. During the battle phase, if you take battle or effect damage, you can special summon this card from your hand. During either player's battle phase in which this card was special summoned by its effect, you can immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one synchro monster using only when monsters you control, including this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and if the sent card was a SPEEDROID, the synchro monster that used this as material gains 1000 attack. So, interesting because you can kind of make a Black Rose during your opponent's turn using this, but the problem is how do you do the burn damage, right? Because you would have to have your level 6 plus this, and still take damage somehow without losing your level 6. So, cool card, but kind of gimmicky, and I don't see it seeing much play. Abyss Actors Backstage. If you have 2 Abyss Actors card in your Pendulum Zones, add 2 Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters with different names from your deck to your extra deck face up. You can only activate it once per turn. Way too slow of a searcher. Don't think we'll see any play where you can just Mellow Madonna search whatever you want. You can't even summon the 2 Abyss Actors because of the Pendulum extra deck limitations, right? Abyss Actor Train the Understudy. When you Pendulum summon a monster, you can add 1 face-up level 1 or 8 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. Kind of slow. If you have 2 Abyss Actor cards in your Pendulum Zones, you can tribute this card, special summon 1 level 1 or 8 Abyss Actor monster from your hand or face up from your extra deck. Too slow. You can just straight up Pendulum summon whatever Abyss Actor you need. Right? You can just Pendulum summon the Madonna, the Heal, the Superstar. You don't need to tribute this, right? It doesn't make any sense. And we're done with the R's. So, what called attention here until now? The Starry Night card, you'll probably see play in the Starry Nights. And that's about it, really. No other cards here look very good, huh? It's a bit of a problem. But let's have a look at the SRs, right? I never saw this card before. Bahalutia, the Grand Radiance. You can tribute summon this card by tributing 1 effect monster. During your opponent's main phase, if your opponent adds a card from the deck to their hand, except by drawing them, and this card is in your hand, so it's a hand trap, interesting, you can, immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon this card. If this card is normal or special summoned from the hand, you can have your opponent banish cards from the top of their deck, face down, equal to the number of cards in their hand. Then they shuffle their entire hand into the deck, and if they do, they add the cards banished by this effect to their hand. You can only use this effect of Bahalutia once per turn. So there's this card. It's called Draw and Lock Bird, and it's much better. Not only you can't play this turn 1 because you still need a tribute, it's just not as good, right? It's okay that it reshuffles your opponent's deck, so like if they shuffle if they search for something, which is basically the idea, you get to mess up their hand, but doing that on turn 3 is just no reason, man. If you're doing that on turn 3, you already lost. My coffee is almost cold. I've been talking for so long. Next card is a Performapal card. Performapal Seal Eel. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. That face-up monster has its effects negated until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. Interesting, you can use this to negate a Dingirsu or a Volophronius. Not bad effect. Monster effect. When this card is normal or special summon, you can target one set spell card your opponent controls. That set card cannot be activated this turn. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. Wow. That's pretty good. That's pretty good going second. It's not bad at all. The only problem I can see is that it's a level 1, so you can't do anything with it, right? Because the current Performapal, the Magician build, what it likes to do is just do Volophronius, Raging Dragon, and the negates, Abyss Dweller, and Giant Hand. And those require level 4s and level 7s. And this is a level 1, which makes it really, really awkward. If you can just go into Raging Dragon with this at the same time, maybe it will see some playable copy if it's easily searchable. But otherwise, I think the level kind of really hurts this card. If it was a level 4, I'm sure it would see play. A level 4 or a level 7. But as it stands, yeah, no. God, I've been talking for too long. Kinda need to just blow my nose here. Sorry. Hopefully after the audio cuts, you guys do not hear this. Right after audio editing. Next card. I know this one. This is every Yugi Boomer's nightmare. Nirvana High Paladin. So it's a level 10 synchro that requires one tuner or one more non-tuner synchro monsters. So for that cost, you could be summoning a Stardust Warrior. Or Shooting Star Dragon if you use Stardust. Pendulum effect. If a pendulum monster you control attacks for the battle, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage. At the end of the damage step, if a pendulum monster you control attacked, all monsters your opponent currently controls lose attack equal to that attacking monster's attack until the end of the turn. Monster effect. For this card synchro summon, you can treat one pendulum monster you control as a tuner. If this card is synchro summoned using a pendulum monster tuner, you can target one card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can halve your opponent's life points. If discarding the monster zone is destroyed, put a set in the pendulum zone. Jesus Christ. So, it's basically just a big beer, which does like 2,000 damage to your opponent at once. I don't know, probably too much effort to summon this, right? It's an interesting effect to just have your opponent's life points like that. But if that was good, the Chronomaly rank 6 would be amazing. So yeah, I don't see this seeing any play. This is a RAIDRAPTOR card. I recognize. It's the rank 8 Satellite Candle Falcon to avoid Winged Beast monsters. If this card is XC summoned by using a RAIDRAPTOR monster as material, you can destroy all spell trap cards your opponent controls, and your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 800 attack for each RAIDRAPTOR monster in your graveyard. So that's what you're probably trying to summon with Skip Force, right? You use the skill to change your, what's his name? Your Rice Falcon, I believe. Let's just write it to not say dumb stuff on the internet for once. RAIDRAPTOR Rice Falcon, that's right. You probably use the skill to change the Rice Falcon to level 6 and activate Skip Force to bring this out, and your opponent can't can barely react to it because, again, level changes with skills. The problem I'm seeing right now is that while yes, destroying all your opponent's spell and traps is a good way to guarantee the OTK, you can just summon Raging Dragon, right? And destroy the entire field instead of only the spell and traps. Which is... It's like... Okay, your opponent can chain something to the Raging Dragon to get rid of it, like a Compose or a Book of Moon. And with this they can't. But your extra deck space is so tight. And I mean so tight already. So I'm not sure if this is worth running over the Raging Dragon. Because the Raging Dragon, even if your opponent like chains a Compose or a Book or whatever, you still blew up their whole field, right? And with this, okay, you blew up all of these spell trap cards. Can you still go for the OTK after using your Skip Force, using your Rise Falcon and whatever materials used to go into it? It's a pretty resource intensive card, right? So yeah, it may be worth considering, but I think Raging Dragon is just straight up better. Maybe. Possibly. And the fact that you already have so many cards in your RAIDRAPTOR extra deck may mean people won't play this, right? Just because of space. If you have more space, sure, why not? But okay, next card. I know this card is coming, and I know it's going to be limit 3 because Orcust probably, which is sad. It's sad that RAIDRAPTORs have to catch stray bullets like this, but it happens. RAIDRAPTOR Strangleanius. If you control a dark monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except dark monsters. If you control an Xyz monster with a dark Xyz monster as material, you can target one level 4 or lower RAIDRAPTOR monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. You can only use each effect of Strangleanius once per turn, so I don't have to tell you that this card is amazing. It's an absolute tree-off in any RAIDRAPTOR deck. Just summon this with a search this with Wise Tricks. No, not Wise Tricks. Force Tricks. Search this with Force Tricks. Upgrade your Force Tricks into a Revolution Falcon. Activate Revolution Falcon's effect to dump stuff in the graveyard and whatever. And just then use Strangleanius effect to get an absolute free level rank 4 Xyz, right? Insane card. Absolute insane card. And you definitely want 3 copies of it, even if it's limit 3. Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. This one is really popular in rank 4 decks. I know this card from the TCG. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your Pendulum Zone. You can only use this effect of Curtain Raiser once per turn, and the monster effect is something like gains 1,100 attack if you control no monsters. Not very important. So, very good card in general. It's just a free level 4, not only for RAIDRAPTORs, any deck that wants the free material, the free level 4, will want to play this. Even if the effect is only once per duel, you definitely want 2 of these at least. Very good card. Abyss Actor Extras. If your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card for your Pendulum Zone. You can only use this effect of extras once per turn. You can tribute this card, place one Abyss Actor Pendulum monster for your deck in your Pendulum Zone. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except Abyss Actors. So, what this card does is basically search Mellow Madonna, which is really good, but not tree off material, I think. If you're running like 3 Madonna, you want to run like 2 of these to search it, because the only the only utility in this is to search your Madonna, basically. So yeah, you definitely should play at least 2 copies of extras. That's it for Abyss Actor cards. So we're not getting the Lake Monsters or Theater, which is very, very bad. So if you guys don't know, Abyss Actor have a very good monster in the form of Hyper Director, and a very good spell card in the form of the field spell Abyss Playhouse. What this card does is basically it turns on the effects of your Abyss Crypts to be when they are destroyed, right? Because otherwise your opponent will never destroy them. And this one just gives you some insane consistency. But the current cards we got aren't bad, especially Curtain Raiser, I think. But they're not exactly what the deck needs to be meta. I think for the deck to be able to compete at the current power level, it would need the Lynx and the Fantastic Theater, the Playhouse, the Field Spell. Those are really big misses, in my opinion. Next card, I know this one. This is Collins Ace from the 5D's manga. One of the legendary dragons. Once per turn during either player's turn, where your opponent activates a spell trap card effect while having no cards in your hand, you can negate the activation and destroy it. So you can obviously say how it works with Infernity. But otherwise, I think maybe with what's the name? Revolver's Rockets. That's a deck that uses a lot of the hand. And Infernity obviously can make very good use of this card, but Infernity's basically a dead deck nowadays thanks to the ban list. The problem with this card, it's a very powerful effect, but being able to manipulate your hand is kind of tough. Like, okay, in Duel Links, you only have 4 cards starting hand, so getting rid of all of them is considerably easier, but still, if you have one single remaining card, your combo is basically ruined. So it's an interesting pickup for decks that can make it, right? Like Resonators and Rockets, but I don't know if we'll see any play. High SPEEDROID Chambara. 1 turner plus 1 non-tuner, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles against 200 attack. If this card is into the graveyard, you can target one of your best SPEEDROID cards, add it to your hand. You can only use Chambara's effect once per turn. So this is an OTK, the Duel Links, which makes it slightly better. But here's the deal. With Yugo's current skill, that is definitely going to be played, which is SPEEDROID Acceleration. Oh god, where I'm zooming and running my whole setup. The skill, what is it? I think it's Acceleration. Clear Wing Acceleration. That's right. What the skill lets you do, it sends a Synchro monster to the graveyard. And I don't know, it just did that. Okay. Sends a Synchro monster to the graveyard and then play a Clear Wing in your graveyard to the field and against attacks equal to the level of the Synchro monster you sent to the graveyard. So the combo is you want to send SPEEDROID Kite Drake. This one, you want to summon Clear Wing first, obviously, then special summon the dice with the skill and go into Kite Drake, which your opponent cannot respond, by the way, because you summoned the dice with the skill. Kite Drake, destroy all the cards on the field, and then activate the skill once again to summon a Clear Wing from the graveyard using your Kite Drake, which will have 4100 attack, and you can attack for gain, which is just a mile times better than Chambara. So, basic play simply because it's a level 5 with Synchro, and we don't have that many options on that level. But outside of that, it's just very mid, very, very, very bad. Actually, you definitely don't play this if you have better options. Then again, we might not, but who knows? And the last card, the boy himself, SPEEDROID Takatomborg. If you control a wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can tribute this card, special summon one Speedride tuner from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except wind monsters. You can only special summon Takatombarg once per turn. So this card is great, right? You get him off, what's his name? Of, God, how could I forget? Terratop. You basically special summon Terratop, search for the Takatomborg, special summon the Takatomborg, and you just can make a Crystal Wing without even using your normal summon. It's absolutely busted. In decks outside of SPEEDROID, right, you can just run one Terratop, one Takatomborg, and just make a easy rank 3 engine, for example. Or you can, what's his name, use him on decks on one decks, for example, Dragoonity. Again, we're talking about Dragoonity. Seems to be always so relevant. So yeah, very good card. If you're playing, and why did it go down? If you're playing Speedroid, you're definitely playing 3 of these, right? So, okay, quick overview of the box. Speedroids. If you're playing Speedroids, you have to go through this 3 times. No questions asked, no negotiation. You need triple win, triple Takatomborg. And you also want, what else do you want from here? Nothing else really, I guess. That's really the only 2 cards you want. You want the 3 win and the triple Takatomborg, and you can just reset every time. RAIDRAPTOR players will want the triple Strangleanius, even if it's limited 3. So you may want to reset the box 3 times. Abyss Actor players may want 2 copies of Curtain Racer and 2 copies of Extra, so reset the box 2 times. What else? As weird as it sounds, Pendulum Magician players may not even need to go to this box, right? Wisdom Y, well, a good card is not playable in the current version that really relies on Pendulum Call. It really conflicts with Pendulum Call. So, for now, you don't really need it. You may get one, right? Just as future proof. But right now, you don't actually need to go into this. There's not really anything that you need. Aqua Actress players, if you exist. I'm not sure if you exist. You exist. You are me. You definitely want to pick up 3 copies of the new cards. They are really fun. Even if, like, okay, listen. Even if you're not interested in any of the archetypes in this mini box, you have to you just have to get the Aqua Actress cards. They're just so cheap and so incredibly fun. Such a fun deck that can only really work in Duel Links, might I add, which makes it even more unique because of the deck size. Last but not least, Starry Night players definitely want 3 copies of Orbita. So it's going to be a pretty expensive run for me because I want to run Speedroids. By the way, Speedroids only need 1 copy of Clearwing. You don't summon this more than once. 2 is already too much. Like, you better use your extra deck space with something else. But you can make it, I guess, twice. This is going to be a very expensive box for me because I will get the triple win. I will get the triple Takatomborg. There's a chance I'll also want to get the triple Strangleanius. This is going to be expensive, man. I really should start making like box opening videos to try to pay them, make them pay those. Can't talk today, sorry. I already said this like 3 times. But yeah, yeah, it's an interesting mini box. It kind of sucks that we aren't getting more SPEEDROID support, more new SPEEDROID support. Like, if we look at it, there are plenty of good cards we are not getting. The good news is that maybe we'll get them on Yugo's rerun, but that's probably pretty far off, right? We still have to have Z1's rerun and Shun's rerun, so still a bit far off. But I really wish we got cards like Marble Machine, Wheel, Scratch, Speed Lift. They don't like to give us the the Link monster, so no rubber band shooter. But Duplicate would have been very cool, very good. Maybe Cork is insane, absolutely insane card. Would have loved to get that, but maybe on the rerun we'll get two nice cards. If I could choose what to, probably the Cork and the Wheel, but that's kind of wishful thinking, isn't it? But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like and a comment down below talking if you will build this deck. What are you interested in this new mini box? If you're going in for Speedroids, for the RAIDRAPTORs, for Archetypes, please tell me you're going for Archetypes. I would be so happy. And subscribe for more Duel Links content. I upload fairly often, and I'm definitely going to bring a few deck profiles from this new mini box. My name is Lynx, and I'm out. Peace.